It's that time again where we decide which sales we're going to smash and which sales we're going to pass on. This week, Capcom has a sale going, so we're going to touch on a few of those games. Now, let's get this started. You guys know how to do this. I'm going to give you a few options. I'm going to name which games are in those options and which ones I would smash or pass on. And I'm curious, out of all the options, if you could just choose one, which one would it be? Let me know in that comment section below. I'm going to also have a full list that'll be in the comment section so you guys don't have to memorize everything I say. So starting off with option 1, we have Dragon's Dogma. Now this game is typically $29.99 and right now it's on sale for $9.99. If you've never played Dragon's Dogma, this is definitely a game I would pick up. It's an action-adventure RPG mix, which means you don't have to worry about the turn-based combat, you also get enough exploration, and yet you also get the best parts of an RPG like equipment and leveling up. There's also a lot of customization to this game, as you can choose obviously what your main character looks like, but also what some of your other characters look like, as you can choose people to go with you and you can kind of create them in however you feel like would best suit your combat. There's also some really good animations and just graphics to this game. It performs pretty well. It's definitely one of those games, if you haven't played it, you probably should check it out. Next up, we have Planet Alpha, which is typically $9.99 and right now it's $1.99. And this game is very much like a side-scroller, platformer, puzzler. Think of Inside or Limbo, those games where there's not a lot of combat, but there's really a lot emphasized on just your platforming and your ability to get from point A to point B. This game is incredibly beautiful and actually tells a really clear, concise story about how you're here alone on this planet with machines that have decided to take over this planet, and you knowing that there is one way to stop them, or at least a power that can really help you out, and that is your main and only goal of this game is to get to that area. And another really good looking game, the Gianna Sisters and the Twisted Dreams, the Ultimate Edition. Now this game is basically like a Mario platformer, at least that's how it started. So this game originally came out on the Commodore 64, and in many ways looked a lot like Mario. As time went on, those member berries start to hit people, and they got a Kickstarter going for this game, and honestly it does play like its own game. It's not very much based in Mario like it was before, but it is still a platformer. I would say it sort of reminds me in a way of Ori, but, you know, not nearly Ori. But this game does have you trying to rescue your sister if she's been captured and collecting gems. So these gems don't really do very much, so I don't actually advise collecting them. Really, they just unlock different pictures of items in the game. So it's kind of pointless, and honestly, when I stopped doing that was the most fun I actually had playing the game, but even then, yeah. This game is $29.99 regularly, but right now it is $1.99. So in option 1, I say you definitely smash on Dragon's Dogma. It's amazing. I'd smash on Planet Alpha as well. Another great game, but I would totally pass on Gianna Sisters. The game, I don't know, it just doesn't hold my attention, and even at $1.99, I just felt like I spent too much money on it. That's all for option 1. Now option 2, we have Phenotopia Awakening, and that game is $19.99, but right now it's $8.99. They have 8 doors, and that is typically $19.99, and right now it's $3.99. And we also have Cthulhu Saves Christmas, which is typically $9.99, and right now it's $2.49. Starting off with Phenotopia Awakening, this game is incredibly simplistic when you look at it, and graphically it's even rather simplistic, but there is so much to this game. Like, this game is so complex. There is so much to it. In fact, I think this game has about 50 to 60 hours of gameplay. This game has more of like a Metroidvania camera style to it, but it plays a lot more like a Legend of Zelda game, including dungeons, puzzles, interactions with NPCs, side quests, and your own ability to like fish and sell your products back to the store where you can then buy more equipment, which some equipment's going to help you access different parts of the world that you weren't able to. There is full exploration. There is a lot to this game that I can't really go over in the time we have. But that one, like I said, typically it is $19.99. Right now it's $8.99. And next up we have 8 Doors, which is another game that I'm gonna say is like a Metroidvania meets a Souls-like, in the fact that it's really difficult, and you play as the protagonist venturing to the afterlife where she can find her father's soul and save it. And once she gets there, she realizes there's a lot of problems there that she must fix. Now the nice thing about this game, aside from having a really compelling story, is that you can also turn it to easy mode if you want. The bosses in this game are rather difficult, and they require you to really memorize their moveset and their movements in general. But there again, if you're just stuck, then you can just turn it to easy and be on your way. Now next we have Cthulhu Saves Christmas, which is a comedy JRPG. I really don't know what else I have to say about this game besides Cthulhu Saves Christmas. Now there's actually more complexity than it just being really funny. The interactions between the characters is delightful and one of the best parts of the game, but the combat is also surprisingly complex. Not overwhelmingly complex, but I'm saying there's some depth to this. And as I said before, this game is $249. Typically, it's $9.99. And so get ready for this. For option 2, I'm smashing all 3 of them. Those are all really great games and well worth the value. Now, option 3, we start off with one of my favorite games on the Nintendo Switch, and it is called Blue Fire. This game is an action-adventure platformer where you're exploring this very dilapidated world, trying to actually bring back your people. Yeah, you're a warrior of sorts that has kind of been long forgotten in a world that is completely overrun by corruption and monsters. Not to say that there isn't some towns and NPCs and things like that for you to meet along the way. One thing about this game to know is your mobility starts off pretty good, but then goes to an ultimate level. Once you start to unlock certain abilities and you can chain moves together, you can almost find yourself going through like a dungeon area without touching the floor. It's pretty amazing, but it's also what's required to get through the game, so you better be on your stuff if you're playing this game. Now, in this list, we also have My Time at Portia, which is basically a Stardew Valley, but more 3D, up-close version of it, if you will. But you do have all of those things that we love to do. You know, you're growing crops, you're building stuff, you're selling stuff, you're doing quests, you're meeting people, you're making friends. I will say this game, though, did make me really dizzy. And that was kind of an issue for me. But right now, it's $7.99. Typically, it's $19.99. And I don't know if it's going to make anyone else dizzy. This is just one of those rare ones that did it for me. Now, with this, I say with Blue Fire, definitely smash. And I'm going to have to pass on My Time at Portia. It's just one of those games that once I got into it, it was actually really fun. Learning your kind of routine is pretty enjoyable, but it actually takes a lot to get into that. And it takes a lot for you to find your footing. So for me, it's one of those games where momentum means everything. And unfortunately, when there's no momentum, I'm just not that interested in it. So for option 4, we start off with Mega Man X Legacy Collection. This game is typically $19.99, but right now it's $7.99. In option 4, we also have a game called Minute of Islands, which is typically $19.99, but right now it is $3.99. And we end up with Crypt of the Necromancer, which is typically $19.99. Right now it's $3.99. So starting with Mega Man X Legacy Collection, why did I choose that one? I don't know. I've beaten every Mega Man game, and I just had more fun in the X series, but I think honestly you can't go wrong, and they're all doing these sales. Capcom has a bunch of Mega Man collections, and they're all about the same price, so, choose whatever group suits you best. Minute of Islands, though, is a very interesting game. It's a 2D side-scroller, platformer, puzzler, where you go around islands, and you try to fix them as you're trying to completely restore your entire world. There's definitely some problems, and once everything can be fixed and come together, you can make your world whole again, and finally be done. And this is a very interesting game that I think spans about 5 to 10 hours, and as far as graphics go, this game looks really good. On to Crypt of the Necromancer. This game is sort of like a Zelda-like, but with rhythm. It's a grid-based movement, but every time you move, you have to move with the rhythm. And this is how you can defeat enemies. If you don't move on the rhythm, you will take a damage, and you will ultimately get beat. Now, this is one that was just honestly too hard for me. I don't know why. I'm a musician, and I just could not find the rhythm for this game. So ultimately, yes, I'm gonna have to pass on this one. And again, though, it is $3.99, down from $19.99. People who do enjoy it and have played it really do like it. Like, it's a very popular game. I'm sure I'm not surprising anyone with that information. Now, with Minute of Islands, this is another one I have to pass on. Like, it seems cool, and the idea of it is really cool, but if I'm being honest, it's just a little too laid back for me. It's a little too cozy, so to speak. And so, yeah, for $3.99, down from $19.99, it's a good deal if you're into real kind of laid back games. But with the Mega Man X Legacy Collection, of course, I'm gonna have to smash on that. I love Mega Man. Mega Man's so much fun. It's one of those games that I hope we see more of, but it's hard to say with Capcom. Now, finally, the last option, option number 5. Start off with the big boy, Resident Evil 4. This is not the remake, but it's also not $60 or $70. In fact, it's only $9.99, down from $19.99. Then we also have Save Me, Mr. Taco, which is a very interesting game that is $3.74, down from $14.99. Now, starting off, obviously, the Resident Evil 4, you know this. This is a classic RE4 experience for $10 on your Switch on the go. I don't know what else I can say. Yes, you still have to deal with annoying Ashley, but give or take, like, you want to spend $70 and have to not deal with Ashley, or bite the bullet, $10 and have the experience. No, seriously, these two games do play different. The remake and this one plays different. If you haven't played this one, I would definitely pick it up because it is an experience all in itself. Now, Save Me, Mr. Taco is a game about humans and octopus being at war with each other, each vying for power. And the octopi are in a situation where they could definitely win, essentially. But there is one octopus who kind of doesn't understand why. He doesn't understand why they hate humans and why humans hate them. He ends up saving a princess who was knocked overboard during a battle. Now he brings her to land where an angel bestows upon him the ability to breathe above water. Then this game really kicks off as you find yourself trying to discover how to stop this war. Your newfound ability has you platforming and inking up a lot of bad guys and just ultimately having fun. Now this game is interesting because after about 25 levels or so, this game really starts to kick in on the difficulty. It's not bad and it's not overwhelmingly difficult, but there is a difficulty spike, so keep that in mind. So for me, RE4 is definitely a smash. I just have too many good memories of this game. It's really, really fun, and for $10, if you haven't played it, you definitely should. And Save Me, Mr. Taco is definitely a smash for me because it's called Save Me, Mr. Taco. It's from Limited Run Games. You are an octopus who is ultimately saving the world. I have no idea what more you want in a game. Like, that's all I need. Anyway, though, I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are. Which option would you go with? If you could only choose one option of these games, which one would it be? Let me know. Let me know what games you're interested in picking up. Are you picking up any sale games? How excited are you for any new games? I know there's one big game that we're all looking forward to coming out here in a couple weeks. But anything and everything down below, I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys are amazing. And I do truly mean that. You guys don't even understand how much you validated me and how much you've done for the community, this channel. I mean, it's amazing. And I have you guys to thank for it. And honestly, that's all I have to thank is you guys. And that's where my loyalty will always be because you guys deserve it. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Take care. Bye-bye.